Boilermakers will then travel to Northwestern on Saturday to take on the Wildcats in a 3 p.m. Eastern Time tip-off. Good evening, everybody. From Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, it is the Katie Gearlds Show. We'll be talking with the head coach for the rest of the hour up until 8 o'clock. You can follow along tonight on our Facebook page on Purdue Athletics and let us know where you're watching if you have any questions for the head coach. And we'll have Katie with us right after this. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
There's more to this game than meets the eye. It takes dedication, determination, and a winning team. Same goes for my partners at Intervision Advanced Medical Imaging. Utilizing the latest technology, Intervision uses non-invasive imaging to give you and your doctor the answers you need. Intervision, because it's what's on the inside that counts.
Your team for imaging, now more affordable than ever. Call and compare today.
Ellis, learn from the elbow. Harper will try from outside, and it's nothing but net. Petrie doubled by Thompson and Marisa, looking for an outlet, able to find Ellis. Smith in the corner, going to drive baseline, take it to the rim herself. Smith open in the corner, and it's good. Inside Harper, working against Pinto, spins to her left, easy bucket for Caitlin Harper. Marisa looking down low. Cash has the pass tipped by Smith. Cash gets it back, finds Thompson, blocked from behind by Learn.
She's been the lone real offensive spark for Purdue. Ill-advised shot there by McKenna Marisa.
Kapnis up ahead to Marisa, working against Smith. She gets a hand on that one. Dribble handoff with Williamson. Now a give and go down low. Good defense by Terry. Terry finds Smith open in the corner for three. It's good. Kapnis running the other way. 3-on-1, dishes to Marisa. Moving inside on Terry, can't finish. Abby Ellis at the scorer's table for the Boilers. Terry kicks to Petrie. She'll try a three and drills it.
Game day with a taste of Louisiana. Purdue Global is Purdue's accredited and affordable online solution for working adults. Persistence pays off at Purdue Global. Katie, it seems like it's been forever. It's been 4 weeks, and you'd think, well, we've got about, 12, 20 games to talk. We've got 4 games that we've had since then. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, we haven't played a lot of games since we last met, but it's good to be back in the grind of the Big Ten season.
And it is a grind starting this week because you basically go right from here to the finish line in March with the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis. Before we get into some specific games, an overall thought, you come in right now with an 11-4 record, 2-3 in the conference. I know you're disappointed after the game on Saturday, but overall, the status of this team right now.
Yeah, I think we got a group of fighters. Obviously none of us were thrilled with our performance on Saturday. Thought we had a good day as a team yesterday. Thought we did a lot of come to Jesus soul searching kind of day, and thought they did a good job of responding. I just walked off the court. We practiced from 5 to 7 tonight, so thought they did a good job of responding. Had a lot of great energy. Got to put our big girl panties on tomorrow when we play Michigan, because they're going to come out and punch us, and we got to come out swinging too.
You know, the thing about the Big Ten, and we've talked about this a lot, the games start to get so close together. You play every 3 or 4 days. You can't let one loss bleed into the second game, because nobody's going to feel sorry for you all season long. It doesn't matter if you have injuries, illnesses, doesn't matter. Everybody else wants to win, and they're going to go after your throat, and you better be ready to play.
Yeah, no doubt. And everybody's going through it, right? I mean, it's the grind of the Big Ten, and you look at our league and how deep it is, and we're trying to catch up with a lot of schools out there and prove that we belong, and we haven't done that yet. So we've got a long way to go there. And it's day in and day out. It doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing. It's going to be a grind, and we're just trying to find our way and keep battling the best we can.
Let's talk about some of those games. We go all the way back before Christmas, December 20th. You beat Texas A&M, a game that you were originally supposed to play that day in Las Vegas. but because you had to cancel from participating in that tournament, you went down to College Station, and really, you hear the phrase grind one out. You grinded one out that day, 59-53.
Yeah, you know, neither team shot it well. Both teams were locked in on the defensive end, and we found a way to make enough plays. I think Cass hit a huge three late in the game on a baseline out of bounds. Got enough stops down the stretch and made enough free throws to find a way to finish the game. I thought Jayla had a couple big moments for us in that game, and since then, you know, she's just kind of like slowly, steadily coming along, and really proud of her growth so far.
When you play an SEC team, and this is a rebuilding Texas A&M team this year, particularly on the offensive end, but one thing you could see, they've got some athletes. You need to have some Jayla Smiths out there to match their athleticism. Yeah, she did. You know, honestly, during warm-up, you could see on tape how big A&M was, and I walk out there during warm-up like, oof. Ooh, you know, our little guards are getting swallowed out here. But you know, our kids battled. They locked into the game plan, and we knew it was going to be a tough battle just because of the way A&M was playing, and we hadn't played in a minute. We went down there without Madison. It was our first game without her, or second game without her. So trying to find our way without number 33. But you know, our group, everybody stepped up, and it was a big team win for us. You sent everybody home for the holidays. You got back, I think, was the day after Christmas. You got them assembled back and got ready for Iowa. That's a tough. It's a tough game any time of the season, but it's a really tough game to come back from a break because they are a really talented offensive basketball team. Oh man, and yeah, we didn't. You know, I think the 12,000 in the stands just kind of like wide-eyed. A lot of us, you know, honestly, kind of happened to us at Nebraska last year when Nebraska was really loud and we played on the road. And you know, I remember talking to Laisha after the game. She's like, I've never played in front of a big crowd like that. And we did a lot of things wrong in the first half. I thought at halftime we kind of came out with a little bit more composure, locked into what we were trying to do, and came out win the third quarter. But you dig yourself in a hole against a team like that. I mean, I was joking with Beth. I mean, we left them so wide open that even Beth could have made some of those open shots. So Beth will tell you she's a shooter back in the day. So there you go. So sorry, BC. Well, she's got some Hall of Fame credentials to her, so she must have done something right. That girl could hoop. She could hoop. You know, the funny thing in that Iowa game is you really did, I thought, a pretty good job on Monica Sonano. She's a player that's absolutely killed Purdue in the past, including 38 points a couple of years ago in a Big Ten tournament game, and you held her to 12, and you would have thought if, you know, you say after the game, boy, you held Sonano to 12 points, gives you a pretty good chance. But then, McKenna Warnock had a big night shooting threes, and Clark was Clark, and they got their points from other places. Yeah, you know, obviously, Caitlin's going to go get hers. I thought if we did a decent job on Monica inside, you know, we could X out and close out to shooters. But, man, we just got caught staring at the ball in the first half, and Warnock just made us pay. All right, we're going to talk more about the Boilermaker games that we've missed since the last Coach's Show. We'll have all that when the Katie Gearlds Show continues. It's presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
What's the big deal?
Against Maryland, and to your point, tightly playing a top 15 team in Iowa. Here is Jayla Smith. In her first start, rolls it in off the back iron.
One of your star players. It's just tough, especially when she's your captain. And we were talking about how invaluable that aspect of the game is.
Who has either missed time or is now, as you mentioned with Douglas, out for the season. As Harper.
The ball is getting stuck on one side for Purdue. They need to look to maybe reverse it or make a move like that. Focus and embrace 2023.
Terry with the wiggle, defended well by Williams. Smith picks it up, no. Waldman, the putback, yes. Third opportunity, and Purdue pays it off.
I don't know how that pass got in there, but it got in there. That was really risky.
Harper a three. Puts it in.
See Wisconsin, they've tried some 3-2 matchup. This time they're sticking with their man-to-man where they like to switch and bump. You saw the switch and bump right there on that action.
Petrie, much needed three. Terry, down to Learn. Oh,
what? Incredible dip.
Lays it in. That is the ball game now for Coach. And a turnover. Terry up ahead to Learn. Petrie knocks it down with a hand in her face. What a play. 5 to shoot for Petrie. Steps it through. Is it off the window? Petrie now has 12. Terry. Ellis with the reverse.
Bob FM.
Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Some of the familiar faces popping up tonight on Facebook: John from Pennsylvania, Ira from Wisconsin, and Sheila from Remington wants to know if is Madison going to consider wearing goggles again?
That's a good question. I think Madison's probably going to leave the goggles off for the rest of the year.
That started because of the fogged condition when you played down in Cancun, right?
Yep. I actually asked her the other day, and she said, no, I feel better without them. So
there you go.
Her call, however she feels.
So I want to thank Brian Jennings, by the way, for filling in when I was down in the bowl game in Orlando, and I was sitting in my hotel room watching the Boilermakers take on Wisconsin and kind of screaming along, I'm sure, with the fans that were in the stands that day. 73-61, a solid win, a game that you had a hard time pulling away from, but never – I guess it really never got down to the nubs in the final minutes. It didn't. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it did.
To me, it seemed like it did.
There you go.
It was good to have Brian. We're glad to have you back, as always.
Thank
you. Gutsy win against a team that, Wisconsin's just kind of a tough matchup for us. But, going in from last year, losing to them twice, and great first quarter. Second quarter, we let them back in the game. Third quarter, we couldn't pull away. And for us to kind of be mentally mature enough to handle that and find a way, I thought Ava was, we couldn't hit any shots from the outside, so put Ava in, just rim run like crazy. And I don't know if there's anybody faster than Ava Learn in transition when she's got a wide open layup. So she came in, she hit 2 jump shots and got out in transition, and then Alicia was able to get some buckets in the fourth quarter to finish it.
Yeah, you need a player like an Ava Learn to give you some energy, and it's a long basketball season, and you're going to have to get contributions. Right now you're playing basically a 9-player rotation, and not everybody's going to be on every night, but somebody has to be on every night.
Yeah, somebody's got to be there, and I think we ran into that a little bit at Penn State. I thought Caitlin had a great game. Jalen Ava were really good, and then other than that, we just were kind of like there. It just kind of existed, and we talked a lot about that yesterday, and hopefully that'll never happen again. Definitely can't happen on the road. You got to be able to, shooting that comes and goes, but you got to be able to travel your energy, travel your defense, travel the way you rebound and fight. And a couple times on loose balls, Penn State beat us to it, and it was I think it was a 4-point game with about 3 minutes to go, and we've got 3 people standing on top of the ball, and one of their players dives on the ball, and I think that just summed up the entire day for us. Their want and will was just a little bit different than ours.
A lot different atmosphere in that game on Saturday, because you go back to Iowa where you had almost 12,000 people in the stands. I think they said 2,700 at Penn State. That's counting arms and legs. I mean, there was a time I was standing next to the usher next to me, and I almost went into the golf announcer mode because I was afraid somebody was going to hear me down on the floor, which happened, by the way, years ago. Katie Douglas told me the year we won the national championship at Providence, the gym was so quiet, we were at the top of the arena, they could actually hear us talking down on the floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah, it was kind of an eerie feeling. It didn't ever get really loud in there. And I even in the first quarter when they hit 5 of 6 threes in the first quarter, and it still didn't ever feel like it was super loud, especially compared to Iowa. And honestly, a couple times I said some words, and I was like, oof, I hope the mic doesn't pick that one up. But, it was a game that we've got to learn from. Obviously, it's a grind, and we've got 13 Big Ten games left. The wheels haven't fallen off. The trains are still on the track, and we got to find a way to keep it moving.
You talked to me before that game on Saturday and said one of the keys is we've got to keep them off of the offensive glass, and they really hurt you on the offensive boards. And there was one in particular. You got it down to 64-60, and they missed a shot, and the shooter got her own rebound and put it back in, and that really kind of broke the dam from there.
Yeah, it did. I think Marisa drives left. We don't drop down and cover, so the on the weak side I think is number 10 got a tip, and it tips it right back to Marisa because we didn't check her. And you know, that one hurts you, but we gave up 11 offensive rebounds in the first half. They had eight second chance points. They finished with 15, so we did a better job in the second half. But the one that we needed the most, we didn't get. And it's not just that one; it's all of them throughout the game, and the loose balls, the effort plays that we can control. And I think our group took a lot of ownership to that yesterday, and loved the intensity we had in practice today. So we'll see if we can carry that over against a really good ball club tomorrow.
All right, we'll come back to walk-ons after this. It's the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network. And this is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
There's more to this game than meets the eye. It takes dedication, determination.
To your point, tightly playing a top 15 team in Iowa. Here is Jayla Smith. In her first start, rolls it in off the back iron.
One of your star players. It's just tough, especially when she's your captain. And we were talking about how invaluable that aspect of the game is.
Who has either missed time or is now, as you mentioned with Douglas, out for the season. As Harper.
The ball is getting stuck on one side for Purdue. They need to look to maybe reverse it or make a move like that. Focus and embrace 2023.
Janae Terry with the wiggle, defended well by Williams. Smith picks it up, no. Waldman the putback, yes. Third opportunity, and Purdue pays it off.
I don't know how that pass got in there, but it got in there. That was really risky.
Harper a three. Puts it in.
See, Wisconsin, they've tried some 3-2 matchup. This time they're sticking with their man-to-man where they like to switch and bump. You saw the switch and bump right there on that action.
Petrie, much needed three. Terry, down to learn. Oh, and
what? Incredible dip.
Lays it in. That is the ball game now for Coach. And a turnover. Terry up ahead to learn. Petrie knocks it down with a hand in her face. What a play. 5 to shoot for Petrie. Steps it through. Is it off the window? Petrie now has 12. Terry. Ellis with the reverse.
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. First day of the spring semester. We have a new president at Purdue. Mung Chang has taken over the reins. Mitch Daniels is stepping down as of New Year's Day. And both those guys, I think, have been, one has been and one will be excellent supporters of athletics. And that's really important when you've got support from your administration and all the way up to the top at Hub D Hall.
Oh, no doubt. President Daniels was awesome. He was always great to meet with recruits or do whatever we needed to do with him, and he always made himself available for us. And you know, President Mung, he came to our first day. You know, his first day in the office, he's at our game against Wisconsin. So it was good to have him here. Good to have him there. Good to have his support, and really looking forward to keep growing our relationship.
And I think they would be heartened by the fact that because of some class schedules here in the second semester, you've actually had to change your practice time. You're going to go from 5 to 7, and when we say there are student athletes at Purdue, it's not just a platitude. It is a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing, and I know I hear a lot of places, you know, they just have players either miss class or they miss the practice so they can go to class. That happens often, but you know, this is a very high academic institution, and a couple of our young ladies have some classes that push till 4:30, 4:45, and so Mondays, Wednesdays we go from 5 to 7, and gives us an opportunity to get the other ones in the office and watch some film or get in the gym with them and get some extra shots up. So we'll take advantage of it. Makes for long Mondays for me, but it's good to end them with you.
It's a new world in college athletics, not just in basketball, but in all the sports, and the portal has changed just about everything. You've been able to get into the portal this year with Laisha Petrie and Caitlin Harper. They're your two leading scorers. And that you don't want to have to rely every year on that, but I think anybody that doesn't shop or doesn't keep an eye on the portal is really missing out on opportunities.
Yeah, you know, it's just part of our game. you know, I went to the Chiefs game.
I heard that.
On December 24th. Big George had a monster game. And I was actually talking to the president of the Chiefs in the suite, and he asked me about the portal, and I said, honestly, it's almost like, you know, we're in this professional world where everybody's on a one-year contract because you just never know.
Yeah.
So you've always got to kind of keep your eyes on the portal and the pulse of your team. You've got to constantly recruit the same players on your team that are active on your team to make sure that, you know, that everybody's fine and good to come back next year. But it's like that you have a professional team on one-year contracts.
Does it change the way you have to coach players?
I think that has evolved over time. I think, you know, you can listen to even Gino talk about he doesn't coach his teams now the way he coached Diana and Sue and Swin. Like everybody, it has evolved, and if you haven't evolved with it, then you're probably, there's a good chance you'll be without a job.
Yeah, and you know, it's really unrestricted free agency.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, but it's here to stay. I think there's something to be said. I stand by it. I think there's something to be said about going through the gauntlet, going through 4 years with the same people. And, you know, I just can remember back to my senior year, and no matter how many times me and Aaron Lawless hated each other on or off the court, we went through it together, and come, you know, hell or high water, I was going to have her back on the court, and I knew she was going to have mine. And, you know, to this day, I feel the exact same way about Aaron. And, you know, I think about, like, what we went through with Lindsay and you just that relationship you build over time. I think there's something really, really special about that.
You know, it's interesting, too, Katie. If you look around the Big Ten, there are different coaches trying to build their programs in different ways. Illinois has a new coach. Illinois brought in a couple of transfers, and they're having immediate success. You look at a place like Minnesota, where Lindsay's got a really young basketball team. You wonder, a year from now, 2 years from now, who's going to come out on top of that? Which is the right way? How do you find the right combination?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, I mean, everybody, obviously, you know, Shauna has done a crazy, amazing job, and her team is just balling out and playing with so much crazy confidence right now. You know, I think Lindsay lost quite a bit, and so had to go into the portal, and all her freshmen are hooping, you know, like, so are they going to stick together, and are they going to ride this out, and are their senior year, are they going to be, you know, the top of the Big Ten? You know, I think, you know, Maryland kind of, you know, Brenda always, like, she always figures it out, right? You look at Iowa, they've got their entire team back. Add one, add one. Ohio State, same thing. They've kind of got their entire team back. So I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. Next year we're going to be super young, and we've got 5 freshmen that we're going to really count on. And, you know, our hope is that for 4 years they stick together, and come their senior year, they've been through it and they're ready to go to war for each other, and we're winning a lot of ball games.
What a tremendous segue, because in the next segment we're going to talk about, get an update on those 5 freshmen. How about that?
I could do this for a living.
You could do this for a living, but stay on the sidelines for right now, okay? All right, we'll have more of the Katie Gearlds Show after this. It's presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network, and this is Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
She doesn't tend to look for her jump shot. It does not affect her ability to create offensively, though. Here is Harper, another look at 3 this time. Molly Davis can't believe she missed that, upsetted herself as she was right there under the rim, laid in. It gets her second look to go, and that will tie this one up. That led Iowa to a tremendous end to that first quarter after they trailed 7-3. But Cassidy Harden steps in to pick that off, the 6th turnover so far. And the reversal.
Always get to set up Caitlin Clark to pay her back for all those shots that she's led her into, but she did there. And just too easy for Warnock.
Cassidy Harden floats it up and kisses its half-court offense. Harden is trying to make things happen herself in this way from 2000 for her career. Petrie launching the 3. Spark this offense. They've been able to slow her in transition. Harper wide open for 3. Yes, and here is the 3-point shooting for the Boilermakers.
Finally has some rhythm offensively. This time it's set up by Petrie, kicking out to Harper. Head to Marshall.
It is so exciting to watch Brenda. You never know what kind of magic she... Team shooting. Typical night at work for Caitlin Clark. Flying in. Stolke with the stuff. But sticking with it is Smith, who's having a great contest in her second season.
Like the energy that she brings to the court, and she can be such a pest.
They have set that ignominious stat, 34%, as Petrie drains the three.
Family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 33 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis and O'Hare airports 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud supporter of Purdue Athletics. We're with the head coach. By the way, next week, the Katie Gearlds Show will be on Tuesday night. The men have a game on Monday afternoon, so Tuesday next week, and then the final 5 shows will all be on Monday night starting that following Monday. So Tuesday next week, and then back to Mondays for the rest of the season. We're going to look ahead a little bit in this segment to the freshman class that you signed back in, what was it, November? A 5-player class, and I'm going to start in no particular order in the state of Indiana here with McKenna Layden, who, as we know, has a sister who plays on this team.
Yeah, excited to add Kenna to our club. Brings kind of a toughness with a lot of length and a really, really good perimeter shooter. Great passer, great basketball IQ. Obviously, like Madison, coaches daughters, so she gets it. But has a little bit of toughness to her. So excited to have her on
How
board.
would you say they're? You talked a little bit how they're like. How are they different? How are the Layden sisters a little different?
I would say that McKenna is more likely to speak her mind than Madison is.
Okay, there you go. Staying in the state of Indiana, Rashonda Jones from up in South Bend.
Oh, you talk about a kid who's just playing lights out. Excited to have her, and her ability to guard the basketball for 94 feet. But I don't know if I've seen a quicker first step. She's got great body control when she drives. She can get into the paint and score, and she's becoming a more consistent shooter and a better shooter from the perimeter. But she's just big time. Her team is incredible, and she's leading them. And I cannot wait for Spider to be on our ball club.
True point guard.
True point guard.
Okay. Let's go to the next state over then. Sophie Swanson, who has missed basketball last year in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, Soph can shoot it and gives us a different dynamic, that someone who can kind of run off screens and doesn't need a lot of time to get her feet set in good range. Most of the players on our team, they need some time to kind of get their feet set, right? To when most of our kids are set shooters, and Soph's really someone who can shoot it off the bounce from range, and you can run her off some screens, kind of like Marisa was, where she can do some different things. Big, strong body, college ready in terms of just strength, and someone who, buckets are buckets, and Soph can go get a bucket.
Going down south in Tennessee, Emily Monson.
Yeah, excited to add Emily. Good length, great shooter from the perimeter, understands basketball, knows how to play the game the right way. Play with a big-time player on our AU program, Chloe Kitts, and she's someone who can just play well off of really good players, and she's just constantly making her entire team better. And Emily has made a really big jump in being a more aggressive scorer. Can play with her basket to basket, has a fall away, has a fade away, can get to the rim and score in contact. So excited about Emily too.
The last player in that class to say yes was Mary Ashley Groot.
Yeah, she made us work. It was a long one. I hope they don't all last like that, but one that's going to be well worth it. I think MA is going to be a fan favorite. You talk about kind of like a Brian Cardinal kind of player who's just going to do all the little dirty things that never is going to show up in the back score, and then you're going to look down and she's going to have 16 and 12 because the kid's never going to miss a box out. She's going to be the first one on the floor. She's going to be the leader in the locker room from day one. Someone you don't have to worry about. She's going to be in the gym. Someone you might have to lock the doors on, right? Because she's just constantly going to be in there. But super excited about this 5. And you talk about 5 winners.
Yeah.
Rashonda's a state champion. McKenna's a winner. Emily went to the state championship. Sophie lost to the state championship last year. Indiana missed basketball, or Illinois missed basketball, and then Mary Ashley, New York state champion. You just talk about 5 winners that know how to win. and excited, really, really excited to have them in black and gold.
And there's really no substitute for that. I mean, it's sometimes the kid can't help it that the teammates around her. I mean, there are times you can't lift the team up higher than it can go, but you can make a team better. And the fact that you come from a winning environment is something that really carries forward.
And these kids, they're, you know, the thing that matters the most is their relationship. But they, you know, they've made relationships with our group so far, but they only care about Purdue winning. It's nothing else with this 5. You know, what is it going to take for Purdue to win? Because there's going to be a time when, you know, it gets really hard in the grind of the season, and you're not scoring points. But the one thing that has to remain consistent is winning always has to be enough. Winning has to be enough, and I think this 5 is going to really bring that to our ball club.
All right, that's the future. We're going to go back to the present when we come in our next segment. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network. And this is Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
Hi, Katie Gearlds.
Our Boilermakers have always been what unite us. To this hallowed field, we return each fall to be a part of something special. We've seen legends born and moments etched in time.
Wide open! Got it! Touchdown Purdue! Seth Morales! Holy Toledo! Thomas steps away, Coleman fumble, and got it! Beasley rushes free for the Purdue touchdown!
It's pandemonium, Coach! Hope for years!
Hope we have a whole lot more of these. It's a great win for Purdue.
For nearly a century, Ross-Ade Stadium has been the home of Purdue football. As we forge ahead, we have a rare opportunity to fortify the legacy of future generations of faithful Boilermakers. Together, we will guarantee the passion you have for the old gold and black will endure for years to come.
Let the carnage and the chaos continue. How about the Boilers?
Boiler up, friends. The time is now.
Good morning, Mr. Babinski.
Oh, Babinski. That's fun to say. Babinski. 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 Purdue basketball, what's your favorite color?
Purdue basketball. Coach Painter speaking.
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Time for the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student-athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler-made. We only got updates on a couple of players this week. Adriana Keys in Poland, her team split the last 2 games. She scored 11 points and had 7 rebounds in a 69-57 loss, but then came back with 8 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, almost a triple-double for Adriana as her team won their next game 76-64. She played 35 minutes in that one. Her team is now 5-6. And Sam Ostarello, playing in Italy, had 6 points and 6 rebounds for her team in a 69-56 win. Her team is now 8-4. You've talked often about the experience you had overseas. You played professionally in the WNBA and played overseas, and basketball's basketball, but boy, the cultures are a lot different, aren't they?
Yeah, cultures are different, and honestly, as an American, it was so cool and so unique to get out and experience different cultures. You know, I'm glad and proud to be an American, but really unique to get out, and I hope that our girls are out over there and taking advantage, because it's a really unique experience.
I would assume you have to get an agent. I mean, how do you get hooked up with an overseas basketball team?
Yeah, agent does the work and brings you the contracts, and you figure out, okay, do you want to go to this country? Do you want to play in this ball club? And you just got to trust the people around you, that they're putting you with the right people. Yeah. Out of school, actually, I worked with Katie Douglas's agent, Vasilis, and went to Slovakia right away, and lasted there for about 3 or 4 months. Didn't realize what it quite meant to be a pro, and ended up in Greece and enjoyed 3 years there, and got to go to some really, really cool places around Europe.
Was there ever a point, especially in those days in Europe, when you looked around and said, what in the world am I doing here?
Yeah, my first, the first week in Slovakia, I was walking to the grocery store, and I'm like, I'm 22 years old. I have no idea what I'm buying. I just wanted to buy milk. There was nothing cold. It was just in a carton. I'm like, okay, is this 2%? Is this skim? Is this whole milk? What am I drinking? I picked one up. I put it in my cereal. Okay, put it back in the fridge, and milk. Our milk, it lasts a little bit, right?
Right.
2 days later, it's all chunky like cottage cheese, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure life out over here. But I did it. It taught me how to grow up real quickly, and found a way to make it work.
Well, segueing that to the current team, when you're having, and I wouldn't say a skid. You've won 2 out of your last 4, but a tough game out last Saturday and a tough game coming up tomorrow. They're going to have to get as you said, the big kids' pants on, because it's going to be a tough challenge tomorrow night.
Yeah, if I could demonstrate what Coach Kuchar does in the locker room before the game, before our practice day, talking about big girl panties and going to your drawer and finding a can in your house and opening it and bringing that to be a can of what, and there's just we need to mic Beth up one day. We need to mic Beth up, because if you could hear what she said and how she says she's awesome. And but yeah, you're right. We got to be tough. We talked about it today, and our group knows it. Michigan's a very physical basketball team. They're long. They're strong. They take up a lot of space, and they're going to get out and pressure us on the perimeter, hard hedge ball screens, trap ball screens. We got to be able to handle it.
They've got also one of the most hard-nosed players in the league. Leah Brown will take and give no quarter on the basketball court.
Yeah, we can't back down. We gotta meet her right there and come out punching too. And it's not just her. Emily Kaiser is balling out this year, and talk about someone physical and tough, and it's their entire ball club, and we cannot back down.
All right, we'll have more in 2 minutes. It's the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network, and this is Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
We Boilermakers show our pride in a number of ways.
And is forced to reset as good transition defense by Chesky. Harper open at the top of the key for
threes. But after you've seen Anna Cannon hit a couple, you catch.
Back out Learn right from the free throw line, knocks it in.
Cash to relocate.
Ellis, Learn from the elbow. Harper will try from outside, and it's nothing but net. Petrie doubled by Thompson and Marisa, looking for an outlet, able to find Ellis. Smith in the corner, gonna drive baseline, take it to the rim herself. Smith open in the corner, and it's good. Inside Harper, working against Pinto, spins to her left, easy bucket for Caitlin Harper. Marisa looking down low, Cash has the pass tipped by Smith. Cash gets it back, finds Thompson, blocked from behind by Learn.
She's been the lone real offensive spark for Purdue. Ill-advised shot there by McKenna Marisa.
Kapnis up ahead to Marisa, working against Smith. She gets a hand on that one. Dribble handoff with Williamson. Now a give and go down low. Good defense by Terry. Terry finds Smith open in the corner for three. It's good. Kapnis running the other way. 3-on-1, dishes to Marisa. Moving inside on Terry, can't finish. Abby Ellis at the scorer's table for the Boilers. Terry kicks to Petrie. She'll try a three and drills it.
For a Purdue basketball game or anytime throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. For the last several years, you think Michigan basketball, you think Naz Hillman. Everything went through Naz, everything worked through Naz. Naz isn't there, and they've still got a pretty good basketball team. I think you mentioned Emily Kaiser before the break. she's typical of players. She's averaging more than 17 points a game now.
Yeah, you kind of like, oh, okay, no more Nas, and then breathe a little bit, and nothing's changed. You know, KBA's done a great job of getting her ball club to, I mean, their identity is her. You know, they play just the way she is and the way she coaches, and hard and tough and physical. And, you know, Kaiser has kind of like just stepped right into that Nas role, just a different type, but you know, nothing's really falling off for that ball club. They're just as tough, just as talented, and we got our hands full tomorrow.
Maddie Nolan is another in-state product. By the way, they have 6 Indiana players on their roster. Maddie Nolan had been struggling from the field up until about the first of the year, and now she's started to find the range again.
Yeah, well, kid, you can't lose on the perimeter. You got to find her in transition. You know, we talked about it today. I think she's taken, you know, 8 2-point shots in Big Ten play.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure we find her. I thought, yes, last year we were kind of hanging with them on the road, and we lost her twice in transition, and she hits 2, and it kind of opened the game up. So they don't shoot a lot of threes. They shoot it pretty well. They want to throw the ball inside and pound it inside, and monsters on the offensive glass. So we got to make sure we know where Maddie Nolan is and not give her any clean looks.
Yeah, as I looked at the numbers earlier today, that was the one thing that really jumped out to me. They rebound the ball very well.
Yes, they do. Emily Kaiser has 40 offensive rebounds. Cam Williams got 39. I don't think we have JT's got more than 20, and that's about it. So, yeah, we gotta do our job, and you know, like it's like shooting free throws. We work on that. Shooting layups. We work on that. We work on boxing out. We'll see if we get the job done tomorrow.
Is it a technique thing? Is it a want to? What makes a good rebounder?
I just want, you know, like putting your body on somebody and being physically tough and pushing them back. And you know, oftentimes I think we have the tendency to think we're athletic and long enough to jump with teams, and you know, let's spade is a spade. That's not us. And tomorrow we're gonna have to do a really good job when we are locked in and focused. You know, we play our practice guys are 6'4", 6'5". We do a good job, and we keep them off the glass. And for whatever reason, that doesn't always translate to us in the games, and it's definitely has to translate tomorrow.
We've talked an awful lot over the years, though, Katie. The world changes a lot sometimes in 2 or 3 hours, depending on how long games are. And if you can get a win tomorrow night on your home floor against a top 20 team, I mean, all the feelings start to get better. Practice gets better. The mood on the team gets better. It's the old cliche, but it is one game at a time, and one game can make a huge difference.
Yeah, winning cures a lot of things, right? Like it covers up a lot of miscues and all that, but. You know, it's going to be a tough one for us tomorrow, but I like our game plan. I like where our group's head is right now after yesterday and today, and expecting to come out with a bunch of energy. It would be nice if we could find a way to get that lower bowl filled. Because games at 6:30, get you home a little bit earlier. You know, go get you something quick to eat, and pack Mackey for us. Be loud for us. Bring some energy. Games on TV, but. You know, a Tuesday night at 6:30, what's better than to come watch a team that's going to lay it on the line?
You know, we saw almost 12,000 fans in Iowa City. Michigan, for their game against Iowa this weekend, had more than 10,000 people. And you and I have both been at the days when Mackey Arena, the lower bowl was filled, upper arena bowl was largely full. We need to get back to those days.
Yeah, we do. And you know, Tim and you and I talk about this all the time. That's on us. Like, we've got to find a way to win games, and we got to bring the excitement to get people to keep coming back. But I just like beg people, like, I promise you our group has that kind of fight and that kind of energy that you're going to want to support, and a group that you can fall in love with. You know, I don't expect ever a sellout crowd like the men do every night, but our group is putting in just as much work, and we might not be as talented, or we might not be there yet, but I promise y'all we're going to fight like you know what tomorrow, and give it everything you have, and it'd be great if we could have a really good crowd.
All right, final segment of the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, coming up on the Purdue Global Sports Network. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Hi, Katie Gearlds here.
Against Maryland, and to your point, tightly playing a top 15 team in Iowa. Here is Jayla Smith. In her first start, rolls it in off the back iron.
One of your star players. It's just tough, especially when she's your captain. And we were talking about how invaluable that aspect of the game is.
Who has either missed time or is now, as you mentioned with Douglas, out for the season. As Harper
The ball is getting stuck on one side for Purdue. They need to look to maybe reverse it or make a move like that. Focus and embrace 2023.
Terry with the wiggle, defended well by Williams. Smith picks it up, no. Waldman the putback, yes. Third opportunity, and Purdue pays it off.
I don't know how that pass got in there, but it got in there. That was really risky.
Harper a three, puts it in.
See, Wisconsin, they've tried some 3-2 matchup. This time they're sticking with their man-to-man where they like to switch and bump. You saw the switch and bump right there on that action.
Petrie, much needed three. Terry, down to learn. Oh, and
what? Incredible dip.
Lays it in. That is the ball game now for Coach. And a turnover. Terry up ahead to learn. Petrie knocks it down with a hand in her face. What a play. 5 to shoot for Petrie. Steps it through. Is it off the window? Petrie now has 12. Terry. Ellis with the reverse.
To the Katie Gearlds Show on 95.3 Bob FM.
This week's game plan is presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, home of the official credit union for Purdue fans. Learn more about their products and services at PurdueFed.com. Couple of games coming up this week. We've talked about Michigan Northwestern, a team that's trying to find itself, but they're a tough out on their home floor.
Yeah, and you know nobody coaches better than Joe too. I mean they'll be ready. I think they play Iowa this week before we go up there to Chicago and play them Saturday. So they've been in games, and then all of a sudden it's just a kind of a dry spell for them, and the other team has. But playing a Big Ten, man, it's a brutal battle.
Safe to say, if we look at the keys for both of these games this week, you want to see some fight, you want to see some battle, and you want to see your team get a little dirty under the fingernails this week.
Yeah, I think that's I expect it. I have no thoughts that I'm going to see something different. I think that's exactly what we're going to see tomorrow, and what better way to do it than a team that's just as tough.
Well, good luck this week against the Wolverines and the Wildcats, and we'll be back here next Tuesday night.
All right, sounds good.
All right, again, the Boilermakers will take on the Michigan Wolverines. Special start time tomorrow night at 6:30. Courtney Delks, you knew her as Courtney Moses, will join me on that game starting at 6:15. And then Purdue heads to the road on Saturday to take on the Northwestern Wildcats. That game will tip off at 3 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll have that broadcast starting at 2:45. I want to thank our on-site engineer tonight, Wes Scott, and our producer, Roger Forsyth. Our video being sent out by Hunter Massengill on Facebook. And again, we'll be with you all season long here on Facebook on the Purdue Athletics site. Don't forget the next Katie Gearlds Show coming up here from Walk-Ons next Tuesday night at 7:10. And then after that, we will go back to our normal Monday nights for the rest of the season with the last show coming up on February 20th. So for the head coach, this is Tim Newton coming to you from Walk-Ons. Hope to see you tomorrow night at Mackey Arena. Until then, Boilermaker basketball against Michigan, 6:30 tip-off. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.
On the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield, you've been listening to